welcome back to another episode of Ballers, Beers, and Banter. I'm your host, Dave. Here with me, Blake Bortles and Tim Tebow, Anthony and Moose.
What's up?
Hello.
Who's calling you guys shotgun? Pop open the beers. Pop open the beers. Let me.
I don't want to be either
let
one.
me pop open my water. You don't want to be Tim Tebow?
No.
You'd have
Absolutely not.
no. All right. I mean, he's pretty popular. Old Timmy
sure.
T. Yes, very popular.
I mean, no,
popular
he is,
enough. Popular enough to get to sign a 1-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars after not playing in the league for 6 years. 6 years, guys. He's been out of the NFL for 6 years, and he was a subpar quarterback when he played, and now he's coming in and playing tight end. Or
He's got all the
maybe
thoughts. He's got all the
end.
thoughts and prayers.
Jesus is on his side. Yes, that's
But
what he will tell you.
It's just hilarious that after the year Denver made the run in the playoffs where he won them the game. Who was it against?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Demaryius
I didn't do
Thompson.
that on purpose, Dave. I didn't.
It's okay. It's okay. Hurts.
But when there was talks, he's not going to be the quarterback again and blah, blah, blah. And then there was talks about him becoming a tight end at the time. And then he was like, no way whatsoever. Then he retires and now he's coming back as a tight end. Like
As a tight end,
seriously.
he looks huge.
But he's always been a big guy.
No, but like his neck looks really big. Like
Well,
he
mean,
looks huge.
he's very into fitness. That's part of what he's been doing in his 6-year absence from the NFL. He was on the New York Mets farm team, right? He played Double-A ball, made the All-Star team for Double-A baseball, and then played Triple-A. Couldn't crack the big leagues though. So he was doing that, and he does fitness stuff. He's been broadcasting, so he's been still active, and I'm sure he works out really, really hard. But there's a big difference between fitness and strength and how much you can bench and playing a position with the best of the best in the world at an elite level. Like there's a big difference. So even if he were to have switched to tight end when he was still playing football, that would have been a tall task. Now being away from the game for 6 years, like it's not like, guys, like if we haven't tossed the football around in 6 years and we go out, like, we're like, shoulder hurts, like, you kind of forget how to throw, you're not so good. Not a big difference, right? But you're going to play professional football with the best athletes and best football players in the world. It's not the same thing. Like if you're a little bit off, you're going to get smoked, right? Come on.
I don't think he'll make it onto the roster though.
You don't think?
No.
Now maybe he's just there for
Moral
some
support.
kind of veteran experience.
So they can get some extra support on their side, from the big
host Bible studies
from the big guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I wish him I like Tim Tebow, and I think it would be awesome. And I get where Urban Meyer's coming from. Well, I don't know if I get where, but they were together in Florida, right? They won 2 national championships together. One, Tim Tebow was actually the starting quarterback. There was that famous speech where they lost a regular season game, and he was like crying, and he's like, "I'm so sorry we lost. I wanted to be undefeated," and all that. Anyway, so he's a heck of a competitor and a player, but so he'll be great. Would he be good for the locker room? I think so. And could he help Trevor Lawrence? Maybe. But yeah,
does Trevor Lawrence need help when you have all that coaching staff? Like, do you need to pay Tim Tebow money?
You're right. And then in terms of actually playing tight end, like, guys, yes, he's big, Moose. He's really strong, but Tim Tebow's listed. He's at like 6'2", and he's up.
I wasn't saying that because I thought it was relevant. I was just saying he looks huge.
He's big and strong, but he's like 6'2", maybe 250. So it's like that's really small for a tight end. So like, what is he gonna do? He's gonna block. He's not that fast either. Like I think back in the day, he was like a 4'8", 4'7". So I don't know.
So he won't make the team. That's essentially
what
we're saying.
Do we know
I think
how
he'll be on the team.
Do we know how old he is?
He's like 33. I think he's like our age, Moose. It's up there. Yeah. Can you imagine?
We're old for football.
By football, by NFL standards, we are ancient. Yeah. Anyways, good luck to him. I don't know how it'll be received in Jacksonville and what's going to happen, but For all you listeners out there, excuse me, for all you listeners out there, I don't think you need to be drafting Tim Tebow on your teams for redraft.
No.
And he was picked up in quite a few dynasty leagues, including our own, immediately. And if you got room on your roster, might as well, you could take a flyer, but I don't see a lot happening.
It's I think it's a wild move anyways, just because they have a couple of young tight ends in Jacksonville already that they were just injured last season or got off to a bad start.
And picking him up in dynasty at 33, like really, like how desperate are you?
There's already tight end competition in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and now they just brought in one more very, very tight end. I mean, like, I don't know what they're like. Maybe they plan to use him like a Taysom Hill style, but like he's not Taysom Hill. Like Taysom Hill runs like a 4.4 like that. He's fast and he can run. He can play running back. Taysom Hill, and he can throw like pretty well. But like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's worth talking about anymore, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm all Tim Tebow'd out.
You're Tebow'd out? All right. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the other news, which is Blake Bortles signing with Green Bay. Anthony, what's the deal here? Do we think this is insurance if Aaron Rodgers ends up leaving? Refuses to play, or
that's what it seems like. Like, people were joking about Green Bay wanting to, he's shaking his head. But what I'll say is, people were joking about Blake Bortles, like, oh, Green Bay should sign Blake Bortles to back up Jordan Love if Aaron Rodgers leaves. And then everybody's like laughing. Oh, we all had a good laugh about it, but they actually did it. So it's like, is Aaron Rodgers really
Blake Bortles couldn't even come on the field last season when Jared Goff got injured. He got outplayed by that other guy.
Well, no, they signed him. He was signed like 2 weeks before that, Goff got hurt, or even after Goff got hurt, right?
Something like that.
The point is, he was on the team when they had a choice between Bortles or that other guy whose name no one can remember, and they went with the guy who no one
picked him. John something,
yes,
something, and he was quite good. It's an H, John with an H. Google it, Moose.
Yeah, look it up real quick here.
But you're not wrong. Like, Blake Bortles is...
But they picked Blake Bortles off the street. Like, he wasn't on a roster. So that's the difference. He wasn't, like, unlike Tim Tebow, he wasn't ready to play in the NFL. He kind of got the call. And they're like, oh, we need you. Which goes to show how many crappy quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks there are in the NFL that they need to go out and get Blake Bortles. Yeah. So now that he signed, he can... Like, I mean, he's not going to start. He's not going to start.
John Wolford.
John Wolford, there you go. Yeah. The Wolfman.
So Blake Bortles got outplayed by John Wolford.
So Moose is shaking his head at me, but I'm not saying he's going to start. I'm just saying that it's hilarious that it was a joke. They did it. And is Aaron Rodgers actually going to leave? I don't know. I hope so. And I hope they start Blake Bortles. As a Bears fan, I just hope for the worst for Green Bay. But I want Jordan Love to start. But apparently, other news coming out that he's nowhere near ready.
Their GM, the GM of Green Bay.
Yeah, but still,
came out
GM's the one that
quote. Yeah, he's got a long way to go before he's ready.
Right. So
my understanding was the Blake Bortles signing was to help at camp in the event that Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up or makes himself unavailable. Blake Bortles is just there as a warm body to throw the ball.
Yeah, which
but then if
highly
he
likely.
show up,
like, Rodgers could not show up for camp. Yeah,
and retire. He said he would retire. That part. That part he did say.
I know, but like, imagine, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to retire.
But that's Aaron Rodgers. He's a big baby.
Oh man!
I don't think it's that ridiculous. I mean, if you already have that much money, like, and you're not getting what you want.
No, listen. When you want to retire, retire. But if you still want to play and you have game left in you, then don't do it like a.
Yeah, but, okay, so here's
don't retire out of spite.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You go on any social media, whatever, you see these people saying, "Oh, don't work with toxic people. If you don't like your job and it's toxic, you should leave. Go find a new job." Aaron Rodgers he feels he's in a toxic situation.
He wants to leave. The toxic one.
Well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we had this discussion before, and like, I don't want to dive in too deep, but look at it like you're comparing it to like normal jobs. So as, let's say, a clerk, somebody working as a clerk, and then they don't like the manager telling them all this stuff or giving them this work and that work, but you kind of got to take it because you're a clerk, and a manager is a manager, or a director is a director. But if you're So like I'm comparing Aaron Rodgers' situation to Russell Wilson. So now if you're that clerk and you have coworkers essentially like verbally or physically abusing you, in Russell Wilson's case, he's getting hit all the time and he wants a better O-line. So he wants to leave because he wants to keep playing football for a long time. And if he keeps getting hit like that, he won't be able to. So Aaron Rodgers not getting along with management, if that's his issue, it's like, dude, just play football. Like you're gonna go play for the Vegas Raiders. Like, are you really gonna win over there?
There's a key thing you said. You said that Russell Wilson wants to keep playing. Maybe he doesn't want to keep playing.
Yeah, maybe not. But then he should just retire.
And that's fine.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said, if I don't get what I want, I'm gonna retire.
Yeah,
that's different. He didn't say, I've come to the end of my career. I'm satisfied with everything. It's time for me to retire. He said, if I don't get everything I want, I'm going to retire. Yeah. It's very
okay. Listen, if you guys won the lottery, would you stay at a toxic job? Like you have all the money you need in life.
Is his job really that toxic? Like I just made the point.
But to him, it is. It doesn't matter what it is to us.
They could have gone to a Super Bowl on one play. He's going to go to the Vegas Raiders.
It doesn't matter.
Trade me to the Vegas Raiders. You're really going to go to the Super Bowl there?
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because all that matters is that he thinks it's a toxic place. So he's making that decision. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it.
But there's also employees that can be big babies. So like just suck it up, champ.
Or he could just take his big wad of money and retire. I mean,
but then just do it. If you don't think you're going to get your way, which you won't because it didn't happen the year before, just retire. Go do Jeopardy.
But why not try? Why not push it as far as you can? He has that kind of influence over them. So
because then you just taint your name. You go out like a B word. Like
whoa.
Yeah, like all the stuff he's accomplished, and then you're going to be remembered for how you ended your career being
Anthony. We don't call people bozos on this podcast, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Keep your bozos to yourself there, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Enough Aaron Rodgers talk. Did you see that they also released the NFL schedule? The NFL is wild, guys. Like they had 12.6 million people tune in for the draft, and they turned the schedule release into a show. Like they leaked things one at a time. We knew who the teams were. We didn't know which weeks they're playing on and which are prime time. And now it's like that.
Yeah,
it's an event. The NFL schedule release is an event. It's incredible what they do. What are your initial thoughts on some of the schedule highlights? For me, one of them, first of all, the fact that the Steelers have what's projected to be the hardest schedule in the league, not too excited about. I think it's going to be tough for Pittsburgh to even make the playoffs this year. But one thing that I'm sure a lot of people have circled on their calendar, Moose, you must, is Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Foxborough week 4 to visit the Patriots. And not only that, but Matthew Berry, fantasy football extraordinaire, put out a post on Instagram that said, and Twitter, I believe, that if you take what Tom Brady was averaging for pass yards last year, he could, if he holds that average, he could pass Drew Brees for all-time passing yards leader in that game in week 4.
So, like, I get everybody's excitement, but it's not as if, like, Tom Brady's going back to play Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like he, you know what I mean? Like, there's obviously a sense of rivalry or whatever, but...
Well, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's going back to play the Tom Brady Patriots.
No, but it's the old squad. It's where he came from. But
that's the thing is it's not the old squad.
No, but like I understand. Like I agree on both sides. So I think Moose is right in the sense that he already stuck it to them by winning the Super Bowl on another team. So what is the point? Now?
But he also won 6 Super Bowls like with the Patriots. Like I think it's a rivalry for the fans. Like everybody's excited, but I think Tom just plays off of that. You know what I mean? It'll be fun. It'll be fun regardless.
With the Bears schedule, like of course they stick us with the Rams week 1. Like it's so ridiculous. You couldn't put a divisional matchup. Oh, my goodness, like are you kidding me? I bet you Nagy or somebody in the Bears organization, they called the league. They're like, put us up against a really tough team so Andy Dalton fails and we can start Justin Fields.
I mean, that could be the best thing that happened to you. So what do you have the Bears other games drummed up? They start with the Rams.
So I was going to bring up that Cynthia, I'm going to mess up her last name, Freeland. Is it Freeland or on NFL Network. She's their stats expert and everything. And then she did all the predictions of which she did how many wins each team will have through her algorithm. So she said the Bears were at like 8.4, just missing the playoffs. And she said the Rams are just getting into the playoffs. And she said this is with Justin Fields.
So they're going to have a lead in one game and then lose it.
What do you mean?
Because
8.4.
Yeah, he's.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be hard to win 40% of one game.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it depends how many games Andy Dalton starts. So they start off with the Rams. They go Bengals. I mean, that's a winnable game if their defense is still what it is. The defense has to be as good as they were last year for them to win games. If it's not, we know they're going to struggle offensively, even if Fields does come in at one point. And then if the defense is not what it is supposed to be, then they'll. I mean,
you guys talked up Andy Bobandy Dalton so much that is their offense really going to struggle?
I don't think they're gonna struggle as bad as they did last season.
There you go.
No, it'll be the same, but that wasn't like you're not going into a Bears game thinking that you're going to see some great offense.
It's going to be better than last season. I think so.
By what? Just because it's Andy Dalton, like they have the same receivers or less.
Yeah, but Darnell Mooney's in his second year now, a little more experience.
I do like Darnell.
David Montgomery's not coming off a wild groin injury in the first few weeks.
Yeah, but remember David Montgomery
Tariq Cohen's back. I think you got to calm down, Anthony.
Oh, I'm calm. It's just I watch the Bears more than any of you, and it's like when we watch the Habs over here in hockey, it's just like we know what to expect until we see something different, like we said about the Browns last year. Then well,
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Star Wars, Anthony, but you're like Luke Skywalker in the first movie where he has the blinders on, and he's like, "How am I supposed to do this with the blinder down?" You got to look past it. Look past that first level of negativity that's the Chicago Bears,
but it's not negativity. I just don't think they're going to be a high-powered offense, or their
nobody
offense.
Said that. Nobody has said high-powered once.
But okay, so I don't think they'll be a good offense. They'll be the same offense. If it's the same,
a little bit better.
I'll tell you what, they'll be a little bit better when Justin Fields gets in, but with Andy, I just don't see it, and he'll get in pretty quick.
But he is a step up from Trubisky. That we have to agree. So I guess he does get a slight bump.
A little nudge.
Yeah,
a little nudge.
We'll see. Anything else on NFL?
I play your Steelers. Is it Monday night?
Bears Steelers. They got a primetime game. It's a Monday nighter, November 8th, whatever.
Well, the Bears Rams is a primetime Sunday night. It's going to be brutal.
Week 1. Yeah. We're week 6, it looks like. Or 2, 4, 6, 8. Week 8. I think week 8, Bears Steelers, Monday night. The Steelers, like the easy games,
9
air quotes for the Steelers, are like divisional, right? Like the Bengals and the Browns, which are never really, and the Browns actually won't be easy this year. So anyway, Steelers are in trouble. It's gonna be interesting to see who actually.
But interesting. We'll get into it in a little bit. I mentioned it partly in my Najee Harris segment.
Spoiler! I didn't know he was drafted.
Spoiler alert! All right. Well, should we
potentially good for the Steelers?
All right. Should we segue into Najee Harris then?
Sure.
And the main discussion of the day is our rookie reviews. And we are starting with our running backs today. So we're going to go through the top 3 running backs as they were drafted in the actual NFL, which is Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, for all our people having trouble pronouncing that last one, and Javonta Williams. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with Najee. And he was drafted in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 24th overall. He stands at 6'2", 230 pounds, ran an unofficial 4.41 in the 40, 39-inch vertical. That's huge, actually.
I think that's wrong, by the way.
Yeah, that's really good for a running back.
That is incorrect.
Where did you find that?
I think I mistyped it.
Okay, so it's like a 9 or a 3.9.
I didn't
8.4.
I couldn't even find it. I think I misinformed all of us.
Oh, that's fine. Vertical is not super important for running backs. They're up and down. The 4.4, 230.
Well,
I
it
mean,
is
like,
for Najee Harris because he jumps over everyone.
He does like to hurdle people.
Yeah.
Oh man, like this guy's like. Listen, I'm biased, guys, so I'll let you guys talk after. But I am psyched as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan to have Najee Harris on the team. And like we needed O line. Like I thought we could have gotten an O lineman there, but once Chris, there was one more really elite tackle left, Christian Darrison. I think he went right before. There was a no-brainer. You had to go Najee Harris, and I think he suits the Steelers offense really well. I'm not worried. Like he's going to be the bell cow back, I think.
Okay, well, let's get into some
Immediately.
some backstory here.
All right, give me some backstory.
All right, so 2019, he became the starting running back in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
He had 1,224 yards, 13 touchdowns, caught 27 passes for 304 yards and 7 touchdowns. 2020, starting running back. And he finished his career as the all-time leader in rushing yards. 3,000
for Alabama.
Alabama.
They've had some good running backs.
3,843 total scrimmage yards, 4,624 scrimmage yards, 3,843 rushing yards, and 57 touchdowns. So I think it's a fantastic situation in Pittsburgh. Sort of. There's pros and cons. I think let's start at like the very base expectations. So I think at worst case, you get a really good goal line back. That's like worst case.
You think that's worst case? You mean for this year?
For this year, yeah.
Okay,
that's your worst case. That's a pretty good worst case.
That's like disaster scenario, yeah. But okay, what do you mean? So
I'm saying, like, let's say you draft Najee Harris. Okay,
yeah.
Everything goes wrong. Like at worst, you have a guy who's going to get tons of goal line work.
Okay, and maybe some touches elsewhere, but mainly goal line works. That's worst case.
Worst case, which is not terrible because Pittsburgh is a very strong offense provided Ben is healthy. But he's James Conner was this big bruising back, constantly getting injured. And it seems like, Najee Harris is the same kind of running back, but probably going to be way healthier, maybe even, bigger and better. So
I'd cut you off there, Moose. I'd even say, like, I would argue that worst case scenario is better than that, because who else on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster could possibly get the majority of touches? There's Benny Snell, Kalen Ballage,
and
Anthony McFarland. Like,
so those guys are going to get sprinkled in, and realistically, the only way they're getting sprinkled in is if Najee gets tired.
Yeah, or they might ease him in, right? They'll be used for sure.
So the only thing that I could see being maybe, I mean, it's a positive and a detriment, and it's Ben's arm strength or health rather. So if they're running the ball a lot, I mean, that's obviously more wear and tear on Najee, which could mean more running backs come in.
Yep.
Or he just gets a ton of opportunity, which I think is probably going to be the case.
Yeah. The way I see it is he's the clear cut. The job is his to lose as the number one guy.
Right.
Absolutely. Early on in the season, they're definitely going to cycle people in. Like we saw that last year with Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor. No one's really coming in. They're like, all right, here's the keys to the castle. You're getting every touch as running back, because that's a recipe for disaster for any rookie. But Pittsburgh doesn't really have many other options, so they might ease him into it. But I think pretty quickly he'll become the lead back, because there's just no one else that can really take on that role.
And I find myself leaning towards saying things like Kalen Ballage and Anthony McFarland are third down pass catching backs, but Najee can also do that.
He can do that.
So obviously I want people to look at the whole picture, even though Najee is super exciting. But I don't think he's going to lose opportunity to these guys in a significant way.
No,
like, I mean, they wouldn't have drafted him. Like, they drafted Anthony McFarland last year. I know we spoke during the year last year that Benny Snell, like I said, he runs violently and he had some flashes in the pan. But I mean, you go and draft a guy like Najee Harris. I mean, he's the guy. And like you said, Dave, it's his job to lose.
100%. And my only concern, and we can start to get into this a little bit, like, is Pittsburgh as a whole. I think they're gonna struggle this year. I think it's gonna be a tall task for them to make the playoffs. I see them as like they're gonna be in that 8 to 10 win range. Tough schedule. And the O-line, struggled last year, and then they lost Marquise Pouncey, their center, and Villanueva, their left tackle. So, and they've picked up some rookies that are coming in here, but we got to see. Like they had trouble last year.
But here's what I want to bring up about schedule. So they only play 5 games against top 10 defenses against the rush. So if we're talking
last year?
Yeah. So if we're just talking Najee Harris, he's not playing that many tough rushing. Well, he's not playing top 10 rush defenses
from last year. You bring up a good point, Moose, because a lot of their tough matchups are the Packers, who struggled on run defense last year.
Seattle,
Seahawks,
Cleveland, and Baltimore.
Yeah, we're not. Although Cleveland's going to tighten up against the run. But those are the top 10. Those are the top 10.
No, those are
non-top 10.
No, those are the top 10 rush defenses
for fantasy, because Green Bay was giving up crazy run yards to fantasy last year.
Not for fantasy, for real
just
football.
In general. For real football. Okay.
Yeah.
So yards on the ground, points. Because the Packers were pretty bad last year for fantasy. But okay, that's good to know. I like that. Can we get into what's your gut instinct? Are we ready to get into gut instinct on Najee Harris?
Yeah. I wrote my comment was, what are you looking at my gut for? Jump on the Najee train and draft him early.
Yeah, I like it.
I agree.
I think 100%. I think in Najee you're getting a pretty safe RB2 range would be his floor, and his upside is RB1. He has RB1 upside, I think.
Yeah, it really just, I think they just have to get creative, and I don't even think they have to get creative, but it'll
turn around and give him the ball.
It'll help. Yeah,
he's just destroys people. Okay, he's like, I don't want to say he's going to be as good as Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry's crazy good, generational type talent, but he's in that mold. He's similar to Derrick Henry. He's Derrick Henry-esque. Okay.
Well, it took Derrick Henry 4 years to break out.
It did. Well, he was behind. Who's he behind? Not Chris Johnson. Who's he behind in Tennessee?
DeMarco Murray was there.
DeMarco Murray. I think it was DeMarco Murray. Yeah. Okay. Can we play a little Would You Rather with Najee Harris?
Sure.
Okay, for drafting. Okay. Would you rather Najee Harris or Chris Carson?
Najee Harris.
Right off the bat, getting Anthony because he's so high on Chris
Najee
Carson,
Harris.
Rashad. But yeah, all right, me too. I would take Najee Harris. Okay, Najee Harris or Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Tough one.
I'm gonna go Clyde.
Yeah, me too.
Homer.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'll go Najee on that one. Najee Harris or Cam Akers?
Wow. I think I'm going Cam Akers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cam Akers as well.
I would also go Cam on that one.
And of course, we're talking redraft.
Yeah,
redraft, half
point.
PPR, kind of 12-team league. It doesn't really matter, but half PPR redraft. Okay, 2 more. Let's go 2 more. Let's get a really good one. Najee Harris or James Robinson?
Wow. I'm going Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris.
Almost only because I don't want to have to worry about the competition.
About Travis Etienne, who we'll talk about in a moment. All right, last one.
Oh, that should have been your last one to segue into it.
Najee Harris or Travis Etienne? I mean, I think that's pretty clearly Najee, just because he has the clear number 1 role, right?
No, to segue
Travis
into
Etienne is our next one.
No, I know. Oh, okay. I should have segued right there, is what you're saying. Well, now you made it awkward. I want one more. Najee Harris or David Montgomery? So I wanted to hear.
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
Okay. I think I would give Najee Harris the edge there too. Okay. Segueing into perfect segue. Dave Montgomery, who? What? Travis Etienne is the next person that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, that surprise round 1 25th pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars going running back when they already have James Robinson.
Moved up to take him as well.
I don't think it's that surprising, but let's get into it.
Yeah. What can I say? He's 5'10". I put 205, but I saw different sites putting him at 215, 210. So we'll say 210 to average it out. And then he had a 4.41 and 4.43 40-yard dash time. He ran it twice. 37.3 vertical. And with what he's known for is having really good speed and agility. And it's tough for defenders to catch him. So if he finds a hole, he's going to be gone.
He gone. And I like, I find that too when you're looking at people's just their bio stuff like height, weight, and you get different weights, and you're like, oh, what is this? I don't know what to trust. And then you realize like, well, your weight does change. So you could weigh in differently at different times, especially when you're a 20-year-old man, you're getting more muscle. And, depending on the time of day, if you ask me, I might be 5 to 6 pounds difference in my weight. So
yeah, it depends if you're drinking water or beer, and maybe.
There you go. We'll let it slide.
I'll mention a little bit his college history. I think when you look at fantasy, I don't take too much into account from their college statistics, but he was one of the most prolific players in Clemson history as far as running backs go. He broke records in the ACC for touchdowns, for rushing. He beat Ted Brown's record originally.
Teddy One Glove. I think
the boy's good. So yeah, and playing on Clemson with Trevor Lawrence is not bad either, which he will be playing the NFL with as well. So
Trevor Lawrence, team up.
Yeah. And his situation, I said that he was surprisingly, I was surprised when they took him because they have James Robinson over there. We mentioned before that they have Raquel Armstead and they signed Carlos Hyde. So, you don't draft Travis Etienne in the first round if he's not going to be the number one guy eventually. But
you do if James Robinson's contract is up after next season.
Right. But to me, when you hit on a guy like that, you hit on James Robinson, he wasn't a mediocre player. He really surprised a lot of people. So when you hit on a guy like that, so to me, you have your running back. So you don't need to waste. It's not like an Anthony McFarland, Najee Harris situation.
What about Derrick Henry?
But DeMarco Murray was a signing. They didn't draft DeMarco Murray.
Okay, but same situation. He's behind another good running back.
But James Robinson's not a veteran. He's on a rookie contract, and
he's not.
He's not on a rookie contract?
I don't think so, because he was an undrafted free agent. Do they still?
Well, he's a rookie.
Yeah,
whatever
but
those
they don't get paid
contracts are.
A lot. So, anyways, to me, it was early. We mentioned a couple episodes ago that Jacksonville is just terrible on both ends of the ball, defense and offense. They haven't been good. So to me, you have a bunch of receivers. You draft Trevor Lawrence. It's time to maybe get a defender. But anyways, this is about Travis Etienne.
Well,
so
and listen, should they have gone defense? Maybe, but they didn't. And they went all in on offense. And the fact that they drafted him in the first round, like you said, Anthony, kind of tells us all we need to know, right? They do plan to use him eventually. Maybe James Robinson leaves. Maybe they have them both, right? After this year, because
which a lot of teams do. They have running back by committee.
Two running backs.
To me, you sign Carlos Hyde, and anyways,
because these guys aren't sitting there looking at your fantasy teams, being like, it'd be a lot simpler for them if we only had one guy. They're looking just to win the Super Bowl, and win football games.
So here's the thing. So Travis Etienne, he's not the biggest guy.
No.
So, one of the biggest issues we saw early with Clyde Edwards-Helaire was he just couldn't smash himself over that goal line.
Yeah.
So that's it. James Robinson is going to be exactly what he did last season and just smash through people on that goal line.
But James Robinson did everything last year. He was great in all facets of the game.
But you make good points, Moose, but now when I said I'm not a big stats guy from college, I'm going to bring up his stats from college. This guy was almost scoring a touchdown a game, and Urban Meyer came out and said that they drafted him with the intention of making him the third down red zone guy, which means he'll be smashing it in, which is not his role with his size and basically known for his speed.
The red zone's different than goal line. I mean, the goal line is in the red zone, but the red zone is.
But even the third, being the third down back, it's like you got to get that first down for the team. So, I mean, it's kind of weird that they would say that. I would think that James Robinson is more that guy because, like Dave just said, he played both roles. But anyways, Urban Meyer's there. He's a new hire. We know him as being one of the best college coaches ever. It's his first coaching job in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see what he does, to see if he can bring his method to the NFL and have it work out. So clearly he wants to go.
Does he have Roman numerals on his name?
Yes, he has a Roman numeral 3.
Travis Etienne?
No, Urban Frank Meyer III, or Roman numeral 3.
Oh, Urban. Oh.
Yeah.
Urban's a Roman numeral 3? This is fantastic. Is there a first coach with the Roman numerals?
I think so.
That we've mentioned, yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he wants to use them. So he did say that he was going to use Etienne in the way that I just said before, but it could change, in the preseason or in camps. So we'll see. And what's going to be interesting for Travis Etienne to look at for fantasy purposes is their division. What's fortunate for him is their division is one of the weaker divisions, but who they're playing during the season, they're playing the NFC South, which has Seattle, the Cardinals, San Francisco, and and the Rams.
That's then West. I think that's the NFC West.
The West, sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Is that who they're playing?
Yeah, they're playing those guys. Yeah, I checked the schedule. Sorry, I put South. And then the NFC, and then they're playing the AFC East, which has the Buffalo Bills, Miami, the Jets, and the Patriots.
Yes.
So
good defenses.
So with a team where it's a crowded backfield and you're playing tough defenses, and Jacksonville not having the greatest defense, if the offense is not going to stay on the field, or if the defense can't stop anyone, the offense, I don't know, maybe they're going through growing pains. It'll be tough for Etienne to break out, I would say, in his first year.
Let me ask you guys this. Do we think Jacksonville's offense will be good for fantasy?
For certain players, yes.
Yeah, I would think so. But yeah, no, I'm just going to go with a straight up yes.
Yeah, like a yes or no. Is Jacksonville's offense going to be good for fantasy? Okay, good. 2, do we believe Travis Etienne will have a large role in their offense?
I think if he does, it would be later on in the season.
Okay.
Kind of like a Cam Akers situation.
Fair. Yeah. Moose?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas a guy
I think he has relevance right away, to be honest. But
for sure he has relevance right away.
It's not going to be like huge. But
right.
It's
not as a defined role as Najee Harris.
Right, because it could just be it could just be that James Robinson outplays him in camps and in preseason, and okay, maybe we're going to go a different route and James Robinson's going to be the lead guy, and then Etienne's going to back him up how Urban Meyer said.
Okay, so if Najee Harris was we kind of had him in that RB2 range, maybe high-end RB2 in terms of where we would draft him. How about Travis Etienne? Where are we seeing him? We can do a would you rather in a second, but where are you comfortable drafting Travis Etienne, or which running back on your depth chart as a fantasy owner would you be comfortable having him?
As a bench guy.
Oh, I don't know.
But I mean, you're a guy that drafted Cam Akers last year, and you took him, in my opinion, way early. But yes, he did sit on your bench most of the season. I think you might have even dropped him and picked him back up. I'm not sure.
No, I kept him.
No, you kept him. So, I mean, and then he was very helpful for you to get into the playoffs at the end of the season. So, I mean, I think Etienne is in the same situation. So you can draft him early, but he'll probably be sitting on your bench. But I think if you're able to get him in the later rounds and have him sit on your bench, then that's fine. But for sure, people are going to reach for him.
What worries me too is Trevor Lawrence's mobility as well.
Right.
Because he'll scramble and run for first downs rather than dump it off to.
Yeah, it's like, you have like a third running back sort of in the mix.
Right. But also what benefits Etienne is that he did play with Trevor Lawrence, and he did all his stats that he got in college was while Trevor Lawrence was doing what he was doing. So they have a great dynamic. So I think Urban Meyer will try and incorporate that in the offense.
All right. It's still early in mock draft season. It's only really begun, but currently on Sleeper, amongst running backs, Travis Etienne is 26th, and he's got an ADP of 61.8. So we'll say 62, which puts him in the start around 6 in a 12-team league. I'd be comfortable taking him there.
I'd be comfortable maybe even taking him earlier.
Maybe around earlier, yeah, like 5. Yeah. I'd probably put him as like your running back. My third running back on my team, I'd be like, okay,
like your
if I have 2 solid ones.
I was gonna say that too. He's probably gonna be great in the flex.
Yeah, flexing all day. All right, should we do a little would you rather, or we got more info? Okay, so I'll go a little deeper down the list for Travis Etienne. But let's maybe start here as our baseline: Travis Etienne or David Montgomery.
David Montgomery.
Yeah, Travis Etienne.
Wow, I would definitely go David Montgomery because he's the clear starter on that team. And he was pretty solid last year. Wow, Moose already Travis Etienne. Moose loves the upside. Okay, so we sort of got a good baseline. Travis Etienne or Kareem Hunt. 2 kind of backup guys. Could be
Kareem
both
Hunt.
in 2 team systems.
Yeah, I got to say Kareem Hunt.
Really? So you would take Kareem Hunt over David Montgomery then, Moose, by A equals B, B equals C logic?
Excuse me?
Would you take Kareem Hunt over David Montgomery?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not very high on David Montgomery.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Well, I agree why Moose is skeptical, because 2 years ago when Tariq Cohen was there, Matt Nagy wasn't using David Montgomery when he should have been using him. So
for sure, David Montgomery,
it's not his talent.
Yeah, he got a lot of work in the passing game last year, which helped out a lot. Yeah. I think he's a safer pick than Travis Etienne. But anyways, okay, Travis Etienne or Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs.
Oh, okay. Travis Etienne or DeAndre Swift?
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I'll go Swift.
Okay, I think I would go Josh Jacobs. I would go Swift. Let's get a good one here. Travis Etienne or Melvin Gordon?
Travis Etienne.
I would take Travis Etienne as well. I'm not.
This is a tough
not
one.
High on
no,
Melvin
it's
Gordon.
not. With Javonta Williams 13th? There? Oh my goodness. No way.
Yeah, but
Segway.
So Anthony, you would take Melvin Gordon?
Frig. No. Travis Etienne.
All right, thanks, Bozo. All right, well, that segues in. The reason we won't be so high on Melvin Gordon is because of our next rookie, Javonta Williams. And guys, listen, Javonta Williams, he drafted in the 2nd round to Denver, 35th overall. And some say he is the most talented back in the draft. He is the best running back and the best all-around running back in this class. So, in terms of, we can get into situation later, but let's keep that in mind that a lot of people had him as the number 1 guy in the class. He's about 5'10", 212, ran an unofficial 4.55 40-yard dash, which is and a vertical of like 36 inches. So maybe not quite that crazy lightning breakaway speed. Like, he's not Tyreek Hill. And that's the one knock on him, is he doesn't have that super breakaway speed. But if we think back to recent seasons in running backs, guys, we don't see a lot of 80-yard touchdowns outside of like Derrick Henry, and it's because no one can tackle him. We don't see that a lot. So I don't think to be an elite fantasy player, I don't think you need to have the crazy lightning speed. I think you just need it to be good enough, which his is. And what he's supposed to be really good at is he's a good power runner. He's versatile. He can break tackles. He can run people over. He can make a miss. He's got great contact balance. So when he gets hit, he's able to keep his balance. Great vision. He played for the University of North Carolina, which is, not when you play for Alabama, you're going to have quite the O-line blocking in front of you. When you play for the University of North Carolina, it's not quite the same. They had a very competent O-line, but it makes me think like the stuff you're producing for them could be a little bit more meaningful than for Alabama at times. So, and then the other great piece is that he was sharing the backfield with Michael Carter, who was drafted to the Jets, and they had basically a timeshare, and they were both producing quite well. So, he's already succeeded in kind of a timeshare role and put up some really good numbers, including his junior season. He had over 1,000 yards. He was averaging 7.3 per carry, 19 touchdowns. He had the most, I like this one, the most missed tackles in college football last season, 75. That's big. And he was doing all that in a 50-50 split with Michael Carter. So where do we think? So that's a little background on Javonta Williams. I like it. What do we think his situation is now? Coming into Denver, we got Melvin Gordon there. We got Mike Boone. What do you guys see?
I mean, I think you got to look at it like this. They got Melvin Gordon last year, and they had Phillip Lindsay, and they were hoping they had a 1-2 punch. Melvin Gordon, of course, was up and down, and Phillip Lindsay wasn't traditional Phillip Lindsay. He had a lot of injuries.
Injuries, yeah.
Yeah. So now I think they have a guy that they feel there could be a true 1-2 punch now, because I think Melvin Gordon still has a little bit left in him. He can maybe give 1 or 2 years, not as a lead back, but as a support role. And I think a guy like Javonta Williams will be a guy that maybe he won't start the season out as the clear number one, but will work his way into it going on through the season.
Mm-hmm. You see that the same way, Moose?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is Denver is clearly looking to phase Melvin Gordon out.
Well, he's got one more year on his contract. He signed a 2-year contract last year in March.
They went and got Mike Boone, who, by no means is not he's a good running back. Every time he had an opportunity in Minnesota, he made it count. He's a flashy guy, so they went and got him, but he's also a special teamer. So likelihood is now that Mike Boone probably won't be a factor in a lot of this, but they still went and got him. They went and got Javonta Williams. So, I mean, I think given the history of Javonta Williams, it's exactly that. He's used to being in a committee, and they'll probably run him in a committee this season. If not, he surpasses Melvin Gordon. And, I think he'll be the guy.
Yeah, I see that too. I think Denver's plan is to use both of them. And they still want to count on Melvin Gordon, right? Like they're paying Melvin Gordon $16 million, right? So 13.5 guaranteed. So they're definitely going to still use Melvin Gordon. They wanted to bring Javonta in as their future running back, and because running backs, they have such a short shelf life, unfortunately. And I really think they're going to use them both quite a bit. So I think we'll see him used off the bat. But in terms of situation, if we rank Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Javonta Williams in terms of who has the most opportunity or who has the best situation, I think I'd say Najee has the best from a fantasy standpoint.
Situation?
Best situation from a fantasy standpoint, yeah. Or most opportunity.
Yeah. He
clearly does. And then, Javonta and Travis Etienne, I see it pretty similar situations, but I think Javonta has the ability to be more of a bell cow back, I think. So pretty excited there. In terms of coaching, we got Vic Fangio as the head coach of Denver. He's a defensive guy. So Pat Schumer, is
Shermer?
I think it's Schumer. Is there an R? Sure.
Well,
Shermer?
You put an R.
Schumer.
Is it a silent R?
I think it's Sure. I think it's Shermer. Yeah. Pat Shermer is entering his second year as offensive coordinator of the team. So both these guys have a ton of experience. Right? They've been coaching for a long, long time. And just based on last season, they used the running back a lot. Like Phillip Lindsay was getting a lot of touches. Melvin Gordon got more throughout the season. We always see Royce Freeman in Denver. They like to use the running back. They like to use the running back in the red zone. They like to use him in the passing game. So I think the running backs will be featured, and I think Javonta Williams will have enough opportunity to prove himself. That's for sure. They're playing in a decent division, the NFC West, but they do get to face the NFC West as their crossover games. So the Eagles, the Washingtons, New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, and all the fun that brings. So they got a pretty decent schedule. And then we'll see. Now, how much of this depends on Drew Lock / Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater, guys? Like, you know, in terms of the overall success of this offense?
A lot, I would say. Well, I think it benefits if they're not the greatest. I think
if the quarterback doesn't do well.
Yeah.
But if the quarterback doesn't do well, doesn't that mean like the whole offense kind of does poorly? And then,
well, fantasy wise, the past couple of years, the running backs have been good in Denver.
Well,
and the quarterback
Melvin Gordon finished 13th or 14th last year. The year before, we thought Lindsey was going to play well this past year because he had such a great rookie season the year before.
1,000-yard seasons on the ground, back to back.
So that was his third year?
This past season was his third year, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. In Denver.
Well, that's my point, that they've had pretty much terrible quarterbacks for a while, or okay quarterbacks for a while. And I mean, Mike Davis didn't play. Like the Carolina Panthers weren't the greatest team last year. I mean, they were competing for the final playoff spot. Didn't get it, obviously. But Mike Davis was a serviceable running back.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
so I think they'll be fine.
Yep.
I think you can expect
the team will be fine.
Yeah, I think
good enough to support.
And they've got a great defense. They're going to stop teams, and their offense is going to be on the field more.
Yeah, I think Javonta Williams could be a RB2 flex.
Yeah, I give him a slight bump over Etienne.
Yeah, Moose, you as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think so too, and I think he'll just have he could be used in different roles. Whereas Travis Etienne, I do think they'll start off Travis Etienne really in the passing game.
Like you could argue that he's in the same situation as Travis Etienne with Melvin Gordon there, except Melvin Gordon, I would say, is closer to a decline / stepping into the secondary role.
Good point. Rather than James Robinson, who's
just going to a second year.
Fresh legs.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys on that one. Cool. Anything else on? So we'll do some would you rather, or maybe can we rank them then? You would put these 3 rookie running backs that we've reviewed today, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Javonta Williams. You put them in what order?
Najee, Davante, Etienne.
Javonta. I would tend to agree with that, but I don't think. I mean, the only mistake is where you draft them. I don't think having any of these 3 guys on your team could do you harm.
No, certainly not. Like they're going to be assets, right?
Yeah.
And I would look to try to scoop up one of them in your. There's so many second-year guys too. If you're not getting, you got to get one of these 3 or one of these breakout rookies from last season. I think there's enough of them that every team should have one, right? If you factor in Jonathan Taylor and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, there's enough that.
But Cam Akers didn't really break out. He had a few good games at the end of the season, so it's like that's what you
and the playoffs. He was good
and the playoffs. But if your fantasy team doesn't make the playoffs, you don't get to use Cam Akers.
No, I meant the real NFL playoffs. So,
but we're talking fantasy here. So I mean, if you're drafting the guy,
right,
and Cam Akers doesn't do anything for you during the regular season, your regular fantasy season, then you don't get to use him in the playoffs or the end of this. He played well at the end of the season too, which is our fantasy playoffs. So you won't get to use him. So that's what I'm worried about with Etienne, which is why I drop him.
You'll only know that at the end of the season.
Right.
So
but
all
it's
of
the
that
gauge.
is irrelevant.
Well, it's not.
But because you're only saying that because now you know that Cam Akers didn't play the full season.
The reason why I was surprised you took him early because there was 4 people in the backfield essentially, or 3 solid guys. So I mean, we just said there's
Malcolm Brown. You consider solid?
He's pretty solid.
Well, he was pretty solid for some games.
Anthony, you're 100% correct. We need to look at in terms of history of what the players do. Look at the actual fantasy season, but how they perform later on in week 17 and 18 this year and the playoffs is significant, especially for rookies. because they're only coming into their own later in the season. So if they take on that role in the most significant time for that team, which is the playoffs, then that's indicative probably of how they'll start the next.
Moose is right. It's where you draft them that actually matters.
Yeah, big time. So where would you draft these guys? So Najee Harris is our top guy. Where would you be comfortable drafting him next year or this year coming up?
I'll drum up 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'd say round 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a round 3 guy. And I would draft him in round 3. And he's currently on Sleeper at, give me one moment, 18 in terms of running back, 33 ADP. So in the later stage of the third round.
Right.
That's where he's currently at. Great. Javonta Williams, where would be comfortable drafting him?
I'd say late 3 or 4.
Really? Okay.
I would go 5. I'll just say 5.
I think it's probably it might take 4, like with how quick running backs go in these drafts. They'll probably take 4. He's right now 37th running back, 87 ADP. So he's currently ranked really low. But I think once people listen to this podcast, word will start to catch on that he's a little better than just a second round NFL running back. And then we said about round 5 for Travis Etienne. Moose, were you earlier?
Well, we said 6 to 8. You said between 6 and 8, and Moose said he would probably go higher. I'd say 6. Moose would say probably 5, 4 or 5.
Yeah, maybe late 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think around round 5 right now. Exciting. So Travis Etienne is currently around names like Chase Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, Raheem Mostert, James Robinson. So James Robinson currently is going later than him in drafts. So there's still a little bit to be worked out in the ADP.
Just to throw something out there, how high would you draft James Robinson now?
He takes a hit. He takes a hit for me. I have him as a low end RB2. So he'd also be
what round?
4, round 4, round 5.
So
round 4,
almost round 4. The same round as Etienne, I guess.
Similar. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that's the thing is I see them, they can use them either way. It just depends which one's going to get featured more.
Right.
But I think it'll be like a form of committee, one way or another.
Which, they can both still be successful, but it remains to be seen. We'll see.
It could be a Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram situation.
Yeah. I really want, exactly. Or Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. As my top running back, I really want someone who's has like no competition, like basically the bell cow back and is proven, but yet, there's always injury risk with running backs, but that's what I'd like. My second running back on my fantasy team, if I can have another one that's similar to that and has a clear cut number 1 role, great. If not, I want someone who's definitely going to have opportunity, and then you can start to bring these upside guys in, like rookies and backups and whatnot, which you'll need. Stack a lot of young running backs on your team because there will be a game where your top running back will not play. That's pretty much guaranteed in fantasy football. All right, guys, this was fun. Great breakdown of the top 3 rookie running backs. Our listeners out there, man, they're going to be just crushing their fantasy leagues this year, except the one they share with us, those listeners, because they'll get crushed. But they'll be ready for draft season, that's for sure. Should we move to the next segment?
Absolutely.
The next segment, they said it on Reddit.
They said it on Reddit.
So smooth.
Boom.
All right. Today's question comes from user Sector. And the question is, where are you drafting Aaron Jones and Davante Adams if Aaron Rodgers leaves? So then he goes on to say, if Rodgers is out, how does that affect those two? ?
It's a great question. Thank you, user Sector. Man, it's really interesting. So let's start with this, guys. Where would you draft them with Aaron Rodgers? Where would you draft them right now?
Pretty high.
So Davante Adams for me is my top wide receiver option if Rodgers is there. For you guys as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So typically that's somewhere in the first round, probably latter stages of the first round with how many elite running backs we have. But that's where if I'd be taking him somewhere between pick 8 to 12, somewhere around there. Anthony, you agree?
Yeah. I would have to agree.
You would take him. Okay. So you sounded like you were thinking about taking him later than the first round. Would you take him in the second round?
No.
Okay. And Aaron Jones,
He wouldn't be there.
He would.
No, he wouldn't. No, he
He
absolutely
would not be there. Aaron Jones, I still have him like my eighth running back overall. So
Here's the thing.
late first, early second.
These guys are still on top, but I feel like if you don't have a good quarterback in Green Bay, or not a good quarterback, providing it's Bortles or Jordan Love.
But hold on. You're getting ahead of it. Currently, where do you have Aaron Jones?
Well, he's elite, so he's a first round pick.
Okay, so first round.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Moose,
Yes.
first round. Okay, I have him late first round.
I
early
have
second
to
round.
say he's elite
Okay.
because I was
You do.
wrong, and I said I
All
would
right.
slap that. on him.
So we have them. We have Davante Adams as a sure cut round one, later stages. Aaron Jones, elite running back, late round one, maybe early round two. That's where we currently have him. Now, Aaron Rodgers leaves. He's gone. He retires. He's the host of Jeopardy. He's Trebecking it. Who do we have? Where do we have these guys now that Rodgers is gone? Let's say it's Jordan Love as a quarterback, something like that.
I mean,
Aaron Jones stays, and
Yeah. So, well, here's the thing. I think you have to take Davante Adams early, anyways.
you don't have to.
You don't have to, but yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. You don't have to.
If it comes to me at that spot and Aaron Rodgers is gone, like I'm taking Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs
Also-
or DeAndre
also-
Hopkins.
Very true. Very true.
Like
very,
they're all clear.
Like
cut.
we
That's
put,
ahead of
I think, two other guys in the tier with him when we were talking about wide receiver, real early wide receiver rankings. I think we had two guys in the same tier. So I mean,
We had
I
those
think-
four. We had
Four.
Diggs,
So-
DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams.
So I think Davante Adams maybe falls out of the tier and goes to tier 2. But a tier 2 guy can still go first round and somebody could take them because they want to gamble. But
that is true.
Okay, so can we all agree with Anthony's point that Aaron Jones would still stay relatively the same because they probably even rely on him more?
Yes.
yeah,
Because not that it would happen, but since we've seen Washington last year, Captain checking down, and Antonio Gibson had a fantastic season. Blake Bortles is the number one check down quarterback.
So,
So Aaron
checkmate.
Jones,
He's the checkmate
exactly
down quarterback.
should have a field day.
So you're, if Blake Bortles is the starting quarterback week one, you're drafting Aaron Jones first overall, Moose.
Boom.
but then an argument could be made. Blake Bortles on Jacksonville, Allen Robinson. That's where he made a name for himself.
Yeah,
with
but
Blake Bortles.
he was good, but he wasn't Davante Adams good.
Yeah, let's calm down. That's it's
He
not
was.
gonna happen.
He was.
It's not
But
gonna
it
happen.
earned him his contract. And
Yeah.
And we said Allen Robinson's elite.
Yeah,
He is
but Blake Bortles has
we see the
fallen
jersey.
far
Yeah.
from that.
But I'm saying he can get the ball to the lead receiver.
He could.
so
he could.
he
He
could.
used to.
Yeah.
He used to be able to do that.
So Davante Adams would obviously still be good. He's like one of the best receivers in the league. But let's do a little would you rather to see where we'd take him. So not ahead of Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, or Stephon Diggs. This is just based on what I got here. Let me go based on your rankings here, where you guys have. I think okay.
But are we saying
Rather, so
Jordan
this is
Love
Dav-
or Bortles?
I mean, doesn't matter. Either one.
Yeah, because Moose said Blake Bortles is being out of the league for a while. Jordan Love's a young guy. Maybe the
They're both
GM's
unknown.
incorrect.
They're both
okay,
unknown.
look,
So-
I'll put it to you like this: Jordan Love has a long way to go. Blake Bortles has gone a long way
Has
from what
gone.
he was.
Yeah, exactly.
from where it was. Okay. So would you rather, this is a situation where Aaron Rodgers is not in Green Bay, he's with Jeopardy. Would you rather Davante Adams or Calvin Ridley?
Do we have to? Who is Calvin Ridley?
Perfect.
Yeah. Who is Calvin Ridley?
I think, who is Calvin Ridley? Would you rather Davante Adams or Keenan Allen?
Who is Keenan Allen?
Who is Keenan Allen?
Who is Keenan Allen? This is fun. Would you rather Davante Adams or DK Metcalf?
Who is DK Metcalf?
Yeah. Who is DK Metcalf?
Who is DK Metcalf? Would you rather Davante Adams or Justin Jefferson?
That's a tough one. But
That's tough.
I don't know, because I'm so inclined to think
Who
that,
is Davante Adams? I'll go first.
I would go Davante Adams on that one.
Yeah, who is Davante Adams? But I'm just so inclined to think that Davante Adams is good enough that he'd make it work with the likes of Blake Bortles. But it's
good enough to be better than a standout rookie from last year.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go two more. I got to do this one. Would you rather Davante Adams or AJ Brown? Big play AJ.
Who is Davante Adams?
Who is Davante Adams?
You guys are so low on AJ Brown. I go AJ Brown. Easy in that situation. Last one. Would you rather? I like putting Mike Evans in all these, but I won't. Would you rather Davante Adams or Allen Robinson?
Who is Allen Robinson, Roman numeral 2?
I think I'll go with who is Allen Robinson as well.
Wow. I think I'd go Davante Adams in that case. Because, I mean, Andy Dalton / a rookie or
Allen Robinson.
Or Blake Bortles / a rookie.
A rookie? Yeah, I mean, come on. But Davante Adams is like Davante Adams, right? So
I know, but I'm giving
Allen Robinson's also the elite on his name. Don't disrespect the guy.
Okay, but there's a difference between being the best in the league and then being like
But there's a difference when there's an elite player that's been playing with only elite talent throwing him the ball, and there's the other elite talent that's only been playing with terrible quarterbacks.
What about the season? What about when Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone that season? Davante Adams was still elite. Who came in? Who was in relief?
Was he? You're assuming
Huntley?
that. You're assuming that.
Let's.
I would like you to check his games.
Yeah, I don't think he did that well that season. And
Which
I was
season
going to say if you
Google.
drop Allen Robinson into Green Bay, I think you might find him closer to the top as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting, guys. Very good. I'm going to Google. Can we get some words of wisdom while I Google when Rodgers was
Google this stuff.
Was it 2018?
I think it's 2017. It looks like
He was 14th overall.
Davante. How many games? And what's his per game basis? Because he was also injured.
Hold on.
I
I was just looking at the overall. Yeah, it's not so great. Like he really kind of only picked it up later in the season.
Well, while these guys search for that stuff, I'm drinking a Dieu du ciel, a blanche du paradis. So for you English people.
But did you just presume we were done with Said It on Reddit?
Well, he just said words of wisdom and everything.
Anthony,
so
I'm giving you a hard time.
So Dieu du ciel means God in the sky, God of the sky. And this is Blanche du Paradis, which is, I guess, a white paradise.
From
White
Paradise.
Yeah. It's a Belgian.
I know I speak French fluently, but I'm guessing
it's a Belgian style, and it's a 5.5% alcohol.
Oh, no wonder you were so loud today. 5.5er.
Was I loud today? Are you guys just
so.
busting my balls today?
Maybe.
Oh, can I say balls?
Well, now
I
you
think
said it
so.
twice. So
I think balls is okay.
I think it's okay
3
because
times.
what if we have to say like footballs?
yeah, the ball's in your court, Anthony, on whether to say balls or not.
Ballers.
Ballslers.
Okay, getting that.
Okay. I'm just drinking a Heineken. Nothing special.
How many do you have left?
I think I only have a couple more in the first layer.
Oh, but wait, did you guys find the statistic, or did you guys just give up?
What statistic? Oh, Dave was looking it up.
So
how many
failed. So now,
Heinekens?
Dave, talk about your beer, and I'll look at the Brett Huntley.
All right, well, I got a very special liqueur today, also of the gods, I would say. And it's, basically, it's, so if you take 2 H's, right? And then you just kind of shimmy on this O next to it. Basically, what you get is H2O and delicious cold water is what I'm having. Crystal clear H2O, like Bobby Boucher. That's some high quality H2O.
Bobby Boucher.
So you can call me Bobby Boucher Moose. Now he's Googling for a thing, but there was your reference right there. Segue. Talk about segues.
So it was 2017.
I already called you Bobby Boucher.
Okay. All right.
2017, Aaron Rodgers played 7 games. So now I will go check 2006.
I was just
We're
trying to.
over it.
I was
We're
trying to
over it.
confirm
We're
that
past
I
it.
was correct in saying that the H is for hydrogen, and
The
the
H is
O
for hydrogen.
and the
O
O
is
is
for
for
oxygen.
oxygen.
2 hydrogen atoms, 1 oxygen atom. It's like grade 9 science. Maybe not even. But today's day and age is like grade 6 probably. All right, guys, we've gone on long enough. So quick words of wisdom, and then we'll sign off.
Well, I think you want to hear this, Dave.
No, we established he was not that great. Moose looked up.
Okay.
He was 14th overall, and there was some injuries.
So you're talking out of your arse again?
I don't think you can say that one either, Anthony.
Arse? I can't say arse. Arse, you can say.
Now you've said it
now
twice.
you said it like 5 more times. Like,
So
why would
many
you do
times.
that?
Because it's the censored version of the word.
No, it's not.
No, it's the Scottish.
It's just from a
Gaelic
different part of the
version.
world.
Oh, no. I'll disagree on. If there's a statistic.
You can disagree all you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's definitely in the United Kingdom. It's what's used for your rear end, but the not polite way. Anyways, on that note, whether you're listening to us in the UK or the
absolutely
US
ridiculous.
or Canada, we hope you sit on your
Bottom.
or than Anthony said,
Behind.
and enjoy yourself in this podcast. Take some notes on those rookies. It's really going to help you with your upcoming fantasy draft. We'll be back on Sunday with the remainder of our rookie reviews, which will include Michael Carter, Javonta Williams' teammate from North Carolina, Trey Sermon, and Kenneth Gainwell. You'll want to hear about that. Until then, thanks for listening. See you next time.
Ciao.